Hi everybody, this is Mama Sue, and today I decided to show you how to wire wrap with just plain old flower wire. This is wire that's not going to be going through your ear, so it's safe to use on the earring itself. It's very inexpensive and fun to practice with, and you can cut it with scissors, so it's so thin. Now, I had a friend ask me if we could use thin wire on earrings to make hoops. And I tried some different things, and I'm going to show you those today. I was able to make a hoop that would stay in shape by braiding the wires, but you have to wire wrap up at these top areas to make sure it's going to stay strong. But that's a very inexpensive. Now this was just beads that I just throw in a container when I'm no longer using those beads. For a long time I used to just throw them in a container, and when I go to use these, I just put them on like that. Just, it's so easy to thread these. Now the beads that my friend was talking about are the very, very tiny beads. You can use the tiny beads with this wire because it's so thin. I don't have any with me right now, but if you'll notice, you have to bend this just right for it to just scoop those beads on there like that. But if you'll notice how loose these beads on here, you'll know that those thin beads will definitely fit on this wire. So that's what we're going to use. Okay, what you're going to want to do is cut the wire the size you're going to want it. I didn't cut this very long on this one, if you'll notice. Now, I did put one together just to show you to braid them, and I'm going to show you how to do this, hooking this and wire wrapping this edge. But this is about, each of my wires was about, I'd say about 5 to 5.5 inches. I just measured it. It's about 5 to 5.5 inches for this one. And what we're going to do is we take the 3 wires. Let me grab the 3 wires. Here's the 3 wires. Well, this one I didn't even take apart yet. I probably have the wrong wires here, but I want to show you. All you got to do is cut these apart. Very easy to cut apart. I mean, this wire is so thin. So this is fun for some things. It's fun for wrapping too. If you don't have you don't want to use the expensive wire when you're learning. I mean, the real golds and real silvers and stuff like that. Actually, this one is cut at 5 inches here. My smallest one is cut at 5 inches right here. Now, you could use one wire, but to be sturdy, you could use one wire to do this, but to be really sturdy, it's better to use all 3 because this wire is so thin. I don't know how rough you are with your jewelry, but I kind of spin it a little bit like this. And then I'll take my round nose pliers. I'll put it about here. And I'll just wrap that around like that. And see how that's, let me get this out of the way. You can see better if I have it against the white. Now, I'm just wrapping that around just like you would wrap around if you were making something. But on this one, I don't do anything fancy. I just turn it. See how I'm just turning it and wrapping around there? That's just to make sure it's going to be strong on there. Then I'm going to cut off this excess. And you're going to want to hang on to that so it doesn't fly through your room and get in the footsies. You got a little hole in there, and I dump it into another container. Now, you can manipulate this with just your fingers, because this wire is so soft. And then I just take a pair of pliers and I squish down. See that little bit of edge right there that's left? There's some little pieces right there. I'm just going to squash those down. It's really not a hard job doing this. And then I'll take, but normally I'm going to have, you can do it this way, and then you can take one wire at a time and get each one wire ready, or you can do each wire individually. Like you can take this and just have one wire like this, and then just be scooping wires up. Let me get beads that you can see. You can just scoop them. But on those little wires, those little bitty ones that come on some of the necklaces that you pull apart, those ones you'll probably have to put on with your hands. But on these normal seed beads that you normally find, these are a little bit bigger than the dinky, really, really micro ones, the real little ones. But that's, and then when you get to the end of this, you're just going to want to bend it over like this to hold it until until you've got each wire filled up. Now I've got a wire filled up over here, and I'm going to show you. See, here's one that's already filled up. And to make my necklace, I'm not real worried about that. I try to get it as close to the end as I can. And then just turn this right here. I normally just turn this right here, just so that it's holding it nice and firm while I braid. And then I'll bring one to the middle. Then I'll bring the next one over. Well, let me lay it down here so you can see it better. Can you see that? And it doesn't matter how tight you get it. You're just going to braid it. One to the middle. Right to the middle. Left to the middle. All you're doing is you're taking one of the sides and bringing it to the middle. And you're just going from one side to the next, bringing it to the middle. You're just bringing that wire to the middle each time. Now, I'm making it kind of big, but you can squash it together when you're done, and it'll meet the same size, when you're done. So it's not a big deal, because the wire will squash up a little bit, especially as you're working with it. I like it a little tighter than this, because I'm trying to show you how to do a braid. Now, if I was doing it tighter, let me show you here. If I were doing it tighter, let me bring it out just to here so that it matches the other earring. I'm going to just lay it over and kind of push those beads back with my finger. My fingernail is pushing those beads back. And then I'm wrapping it over here, one to the middle. Then I'm wrapping it over to this side. Now I'm keeping those beads kind of tight. This will make it match this other earring here, because I'm going to try to match it to this one. Yep, there you go. And then this one goes to the middle. Then the left one goes to the middle. Then the right one. Then the left one. And we're going to go that way all the way. Then we're going to do the same thing we did to the top of this one. When we get to the end, we're going to pull off some beads. We're going to measure it, to the other earring. Because you kind of got to go by measuring it to the other earring, because one braid can be tighter than the other, and it'll make it appear longer. So you kind of measure it with the other earring. I'm just going to keep doing this until I get to the end. Now this will make it where your earring will stay very firm, even with that little wire. I was worried that that this being so thin wouldn't keep its shape. If you're careful with them, they'll keep their shape. But and if you make the tighter you put your beads on, it'll keep its shape better. I'm almost to the end, and yeah, I'm almost there. Let me get to the end. Oop, I got some of those beads coming up. It's when you get to the end, it gets a little bit difficult. See, because the beads are trying to get out. And that's okay if some come off, because you're going to take some off anyway when you get to the end. Because I overbeat them so that I can match the other earring. This I should have shown you this one last, because this is the hardest one that I'm going to show you today. Now, if you have them upward, it's going to be easier to keep those things on there, of course. Now, I'm just beading all the way to the end. I mean, just braiding, excuse me. Now, I'm going to check the size of this. I'm going to keep these earrings upward, and I'm going to check the size of this one. Now, I'm bending it up, because I want to see if it matches this other earring. And, oh, I'm at a pretty good place. But see how much extra there is there? Now that I'll just pull off. All that little extra stuff I'll pull off. Because I don't need that much for it to match the size of this other earring. So I've got too many on there. So see why I wasn't worried about some falling off? I wasn't worried about it because I put extra. Okay, let me push these other ones down. Now this one's a little tricky on your fingers, trying to get all those where you want them. Now I'm just going to push these others down, and I'm going to get a hold of it and just turn it. You know, I've got one of those big beads in there. I'm going to take that big bead out. The way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to squash it. That one's getting in my way to where I can't braid very well. Okay, now that one's gone. Now I can get this thing going. Because I had all those crazy beads in my little bead bucket, my extra bead bucket. Now I'm just going to turn this like this, maybe once, twice, whatever you. And then I'm going to check and make sure I still got the right size. I'm putting it up to this earring. And looks like I'm going to be, looks like I still need to take a little bit off. So I'm going to take a little bit more off. And actually, all I can do, I can just squish them to take some off instead of opening that wire. Because these are those little seed beads. Now I've squished enough right there that I've got some more I can turn it. Where I can turn it with the, just twist it. There, now I got it twisted. That's how easy that is. Just make sure that you hold it so that the glass on these glass beads doesn't go in your eyes or something. You know, and have something ready to clean it up so that it doesn't get in your feet or anything else. I've never had a problem with the seed beads. But look, now that's just about perfect now. Let me set this up to this one. Here's where the opening is on that one. It's easier if I didn't put this on first. But I was trying to show you a full, one already done. And then this one comes up just about to there, so I'm in good shape. Now I just got to make the little ring on that top, like I did on the other side. I'm going to just hang on to this. What if I got a little bead on there? You get that bead? Okay, now I'm going to just hang on to this side. I'll go around the middle. Bring that wire around. I don't want it too high up. I'm going to make sure it's not too high up. Sorry, I got you out of your sight. I didn't mean to do that. And then I'm just going to wind it around. Just kind of turn it. Like you're, just kind of turn it. And then cut off the extra. That's good enough. Now I just want to cut off the extra with my cutters. As you can, let me get up here where you can see me. I'm cutting off all those little extra limbs. They're different sizes on this side because you twisted the wires up and you did all that good stuff. So it's not going to be, they're not going to be right in line like they were with the first one. Now I'm going to squish the edge down of those wires that are sticking up, just so that there's nothing that can catch in your hair or anywhere else. Now that's wire wrapped pretty good. Now let's bring this up and see if I got close in size. Oh yeah, I'm very close in size. See there? Okay, now I'm going to put this ring right here. Now I'm going to stick that little ring on. As most of you know, I like to use these ones that look like that are like a keychain. Can you see that? There you go. See how you can see it's like a keychain, and you catch one end of it. Wait, there it is. There's the end that you have to pull out. You get a hold of one of those ends. Let me just grab a hold of this one. I'm going to grab a hold of this end right here and pull out. See how can you see that? I'm just pulling out. Oops. I'm pulling out and turning it. And when I turn it, hang on to my pliers real tight. It'll stay like that so that I can get it onto the earring. So I'm going to put it through one side. Now I'm going to let go of it. Then I'm going to hold on to this part of it and turn it. And then let it catch on the other side. Oh, now it's caught. Oh, yes, it's caught good. And I'm just going to turn it until I hear it click. I heard one click. I got to hear 2 clicks. Well, it must have gone on without me knowing it. I guess there was 2 clicks there. Oop, I didn't catch that one all the way. Sometimes when you have 3 wires, you'll catch 2 of them and not catch the last one. So I better pull that out and catch that last wire. I am going to find that edge. The reason I like using these kind, boy, my hands. I've started a new cake decorating job this week, and so my hands are having to get used to the kind of the way I use them now. I will be showing you cake decorating later. That's what I used to do before. Let me take this off of this side, and then I'll put it back on the whole thing. It's the easiest way to do this. Wait, am I getting... Sorry about that. There it is. I had to find the opening and pull out so that I can get this off. Now I've got it on there. Now it's at a place where I can turn it and get it off. There it goes. Now I want to push all these wires together this time to make sure that you can even do it with your fingers, because these wires are really little. You know, they're real thin. Can you see those? Yeah, I want to get my hoop through all 3 of those loops. Now I'm going to get a hold of it. Let me show you how to open this wire again, just so you know. You find the place where there's an opening. Here's that opening place right here. Can you see that? Now I'm grabbing this one wire, pulling it out and turning it so that I can have so that you can see the opening right there. Then I want to go down to the other side of the wire. Where are you? Let me pull it back up. And then I want it to go through all 3 of the holes. Oops, I lost it. Hang on a second. Sometimes you do that when you're getting used to doing this. And sometimes I still do it. And then you just turn it until you hear the pop. Now, I kind of heard, oh, I heard a good pop there. Okay, it's in there. Okay, now on these, you want to make sure that these are closed all the way after you're done. And you just turn it like that, and it kind of makes it tight again. Now it's tight again. Can you see that? You see that? I hope you can see that. Anyway, there is that earring. And it's the same size as the other. If it's a little bigger, I'm not going to worry. I can just break some of those beads and twist it a little. Oop. But as you can see, I got pretty darn close. See there? Oop. Came out of focus there. And then I want to put my earring, I want to put my, let me pull that a little bit. Pull it out a little bit. I'll make them better sized to one another. By golly, I did go a little bit bigger. I'm just going to squish this right here a little bit. Take my wire and turn it. That's all you have to do with these. And it'll become the same size. Twist those things a little bit. As I said, I'm showing you the hardest one first. Now it's the same size. If you notice, they're both the same size now. But you just got to play with it. You just got to play with it a little bit. Like I said, those are the trickiest ones there because you're trying to braid it. And if you haven't done braids before, it's something you're just going to have to get used to. There's lots of videos on how to braid if you didn't get it on mine. And then, oh, well, on this, you open up, I didn't even explain it. You just open this up, you turn it up sideways. Never pull it out. Always turn it up. Because you don't want to stretch it out of shape. Then you grab that end and you push it back down. Oop. Just kind of make sure that that's leaned up against your wire good. My wire just can't. Boy, this is just one of those days. Okay, there you go. Now it's on there. Now you got a nice braided pair of earrings. Now this, like I said, this is the hardest one to do here is the braided ones. But they turn out really nice and they're cute and you can do different things with them. What I like to do too is sometimes I'll twist, you know, and make a pretty twist earring. I think those are really cool. If you don't want to go with a round one, with the thin wire you can do that. But look how, wait, let me get a hold of that. Look how cute that is with the twist in it. It just makes a whole different earring, you know. And then here's the loop. As you know, I mean, the loops are cute too. There's your set. And now the next one is this little round one. Now this is just a little round hoop that you can make just out of the seed beads. Now that's a good size hoop. I mean, for an earring. But I wouldn't take it much bigger than this because, well, you can do it. You can make them bigger if you're going to just be real careful that you're not going to, because brushing your hair, if you make them bigger than that, even pushing your hair back could bend the wire easily. But for the most part, these are really lightweight. I would prefer to have them like this now that I've made them. I would prefer to have them like this because they're so lightweight. Now on this one, I used, where are they? Well, my wire is gone, so I will use a different wire. I will cut a new one. So, I don't know how far I went, but if you want to measure them, it's better if I measure them ahead of time. But for this tutorial, I'm not going to worry about it because I had it out and it's gone. So, I'm just going to go ahead and cut myself a piece of wire off. This one I cut about 5-6 inches. And then I'm going to curl one end. What you're going to do is you're going to put your round nose pliers. Come on. Come into focus. There we go. Oh, it's starting to focus. Okay, you put your round nose pliers, about a 1/2 inch or so around. I'd go a little bit further, just to be safe. And you turn it around like we did before. But you want to make sure that you've got that wire when you're twisting it. Make sure it's one under another because this is going to be, you're going to see this one more. So you want to make sure you get it nice and clear. And then if you want to push it up a little bit, you can put your nozzle in the wire and push. Or wait a minute, let me do it with this one. It's harder to do with the thinner wire. It's harder to squeeze this stuff up and everything else because it wants to all crunch up. But that's good enough right there. You really don't, a lot of the stuff you can do with your fingers on this wire because it's so thin. And then you want to squish down that little tip because we're going to be wrapping over that little tip when we're done here. When we get all the stuff on there, all the beads. Today's not my thinking day because I can't even think what the bead is called. But I promised I'd get this out, so I'm going to get it out today regardless. Okay. Now, when I pull the wire like this, it round gauges it. It just makes it round just because I'm straightening it, and it goes into like a curve. I'll pull that curve up just a little bit more, like that, kind of like a hook. And then I'll just hook my beads as I go. Now, if you turn this, I'm going to bend this down. I'm going to turn it where I get a, see how I've turned that? I can get a hold of this here. It'll make it easier for me. And then I'm just going to kind of grab the beads as I go. See how it's grabbing the beads? It's grabbing lots of beads. It's an easy way to do it, and you don't have to be patient to do that. Just whenever you get some on there, push them back, and then you can get more on there. See, I'm getting lots on there. Look how many I've gotten already. Just from this little action. You know, all I'm doing is, see? All I'm doing is digging. But you got to have that curve in there. If you don't have that curve in there, you're not going to pick up anything. See? Grabbed more. It's such an easy way to do this. See, I got a lot that time. And we've almost got this earring ready to go. Now I'm just going to keep going right here and get those on there so that you can see what I'm doing. Oop, I only got one that time because I bent my curve out of place. Now if it gets to where you're not getting any, turn your bowl around and start going the other way. I think I've got plenty on there right now. See, I've gotten that thing pretty full. I'm going to set this aside, and then I want to measure it with this other side. I'm going to bend this. You remember how I told you just to bend this? I'm just going to bend that so my beads don't come off, because this is really soft wire. And I'm going to measure it up to this one. Now this bends upward, so I'm going to bend that upward just so that you can see what I'm going to put it right against the existing one on the other earring. And then I'm just going to just kind of fold it around the earring. And look there, I've got too many beads on this one. But you're better having too many than not enough. Now, I am going to because this is only one wire, I'm going to go ahead and unbead that and pull off the excess wires. I mean, excess beads. Now, that is just about right. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take this wire here and I'm going to wrap it around this one here. Let me just get this. Hang on to the top of your wire and then push the beads down to where they come all the way to the top. And then I want you to line this up with that to make sure you've got it in the right place. And then bend it around. Now, see how I'm kind of loose in here? I got to push more beads and pull that up more. The thin wire is a little different to work with, but I'm sure as you get used to it, I'm going to try it by hand first. I think it'll go on there better by hand because I'm just learning this with you because I was trying to help one of y'all with the thinner wire and tinier beads. See there? We just wound that around with our fingers. Let's see if this is the same size. Oh yeah, there you go. That's great size. Now, on this you're going to want to cut off that little extra. You can wrap it around if you want to, but I just as soon cut it off because there's enough on there to hold the beads on real nice. And then I'm going to squish down just that little piece that overhangs, that little stem that we cut off, because I don't want that sticking anybody or I got it down pretty good. Now let me see if from here I want this to be straight up. You can move it with your fingers, but look how close those came. You can always count your beads, but seed beads are a little different in size. These ones aren't as bad as the bigger ones. The bigger ones are really off on size, but these aren't near as bad. So you can always count them. Like they're always going to be just a little bit different because the beads are different sizes. But these came out pretty close. So I'm not worried about those. I mean, these will look nice when they're on. They're almost identical in size. And then you're just gonna, now I put 2 hoops on here just to make it hang a little longer. I thought that was kind of cool, putting that 2 loops on there was kind of cute. So I'm gonna put 2 loops on this one. Let me find my loops. Oh, here they are. Okay, let me find the size. Okay, here's the size that I used on that. Now I'm going to open one loop and put the other loop on it. Remember how we open those. We grab onto one side, pull out. Oop, don't let go of your pliers. Pull out and turn your pliers so that you have an opening. Oh, and I just lost it. Okay, that's all right. See, I didn't hang on to my pliers tight enough. That's why I lost it. Pull out and push down. And hang on to those pliers, because if you don't, you'll lose the ring. Then you hoop it. You just stick it on to the other one while it's open, and then start turning it like that. Now that's on there. That's on there real good. Now you're going to put it on your hoop, and you should have a side that's kind of looser. You might just stick it on there. Oh, here's the looser side. See how that's still open just a little bit? Can you see that? Well, I can just slip this on there and then I'll tighten it. Because this wire's so thin, I can just slip it on there. See how I'm just slipping it on? It's because the wire's so tiny and thin. You know, now I want to go back to where this opens. There's the opening right there. And I'm going to put this on the back side of that where the opening is. And then I just want to twist inward so that tightens it. Now it's back tight again. So your ring is not going to come off. Now you got your doubles on there. Now all we got to do is put it on your hoop. I mean on your ring hoop wire. You're going to open that end. Let me show you how to open that end. Just grab onto that with your pliers and push up. Never out. Just up. Just enough to get your wire on. Now there's no front or back to this, so I can put it on whichever way I want to. And then I close it back up, and I just kind of snuggle it up to that wire. Now there's your set of earrings. That makes a cute little set of earrings. This one can be bent down a little more, but that's a cute little set of earrings. Now the next one we're going to do is, let me show you. We're not going to do one actually. I'm just going to show you some variations. Remember how I told you could twist the wire? Now this one here, all I did is make it like I did this earring here, and I just twisted it 2 times to make that cute little, and that makes an adorable pair of earrings. Look at this. Look how cute that is. Now all I did was I twisted it once, then I twisted it twice. And that gave me that cute little earring look. And you can open it however you want to. Now that'll stay pretty nice doing it like that. And those are cute earrings. You know, as a matter of fact, I like this better than the loops that I made with that thin wire. And let me grab the other one. I'm going to show you that again. What I did is I grabbed it at this top part right here and the bottom, and I just twisted it. You know, if you just twist a tie for your bread. And then I grab it down here at the second hoop and I twist it there so that I have the 2 hoops. Now there's your earring. Aren't those adorable? It's an easy earring to make, very inexpensive. You can make, oh gosh, you could probably make, I've never checked to see how many you can make, but you get, in a package, you get a little bit less than this in a package. So can you imagine how far those beads are going to go? And this wire here will take you all the way through, because there's, I mean, that's got a lot of wire on it because it's thin wire. You can buy in jewelry wire, you can buy the thin, but if you're going to just make things in practice for now, you might as well get the floral wire. Let me show you. In the floral section of your store, ooh, you can't see that, it's backwards. But this is the floral wire. It says floral wire right on it, but this is backwards so that you could see what I was doing easier. But you can get that kind, or you can get the jewelry fun wire. You know, it's up to you. But you get the real thin stuff, and you can make these cute really cute little turnstile earrings, and I really like them in this rock here, in this glass here. This glass looks real pretty. And glass earrings are really elegant anyway. And then the last one I wanted to show you is this set here. Very cute to make. And I'm going to make one of these. I'm going to show you how to make these little hangers in between. And then and the bottom is made the same way, except for it's made smaller. It's just a smaller version of the earrings that we just made. And the hoops with the single hoops. And then I've already made these little danglies here for this, and that's what we're going to put on them. But I'm going to show you how to make those danglies right now. These I made with thicker wire on these, so I only needed to, with the thicker wire, let me see. Oh, well, I'll have this here. I'll use this. With the thicker wire, wait a second. With the thicker wire, all you got to do, I'm going to cut the end off this because I'm going to do this so that you can see exactly what's done. All you got to do is you get a hold of that. You get a hold of that wire and you bend it all the way around. Now this is a heavier wire, so it's harder to bend. And you turn your wire and pliers at the same time until you touch the other side. Now I'm touching the other side. Sorry about that. Maybe I should show you that again. And then you push up. When you push up, you've made that little circle. Let me show you that again, because I was out of camera range. You hold on to that edge, and you turn. You just start turning it. You getting that? Oh, now it's in focus. Turn it until you touch the other side of the wire. Now I'm not touching yet. And you turn it a little, turn your pliers a little more until you can get it to go all the way around. Touch the other side of the wire. Now I'm touching right now, if you can see that. Then I grab it right where it touches and I bend it upward. And that gives me my first side. And that needs to be bent just a little bit more. See there? There's your little, let me straighten that a little. But there it is. There's one side. Then you take a bead. I'm going to show you a big one just so you can see it good. Then you take a bead. Here's a little plastic bead. And you stick it on your wire like that. Now what I'm making right here is this. This little piece that hangs in between. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab it right here. Well, you know what? I am going to bend this over like this. Let me hold on to this other side so I can bend it. I'm going to hold on to the other side, and then I'm just going to bend this. Oop, I can't bend it. Well, let me grab the very tip. Make it easier. Bend it like that. Then I'm going to put my pliers, I'm going to put my round nose back in there. See how that's bent? Well, let me show you how it's bent. See, I've got it bent over like that. Now, I'm going to put my wire, my round nose wire, my round nose pliers, and I'm going to roll it around the top. And it didn't go all the way yet. I'm going to turn my pliers again. And I'm going to make sure it goes all the way. And then I'm going to take my pliers and put them back in there. And I'm going to turn it the rest of the way with my pliers. And then I'm just going to make sure it's in the middle. And there's your little, there it is. Now you're going to cut off that little piece that you see hanging there. Now that you're going to want to cut off. And then you just want to make sure you got it right, that you've got it tight after you're done there. Now I'm going to cut it off right here. Now see how it's still got a little bit of an opening there? You're going to want to put your round nose in there and make it touch the wire like we did on the other side. Even if you have to turn it down a little bit. Now it's touching the wire. I'm going to flatten it out. And there's that little centerpiece that you would be putting in the middle if you were using the thicker wire. Now on the thinner wire is different, because on the thinner wire it won't hold together if you don't put twisties around it. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to take this. Now I don't have any little diamonds down here. Let me find a little diamond so I can show you. Here's one. Maybe I should get one in color so you can see it in color. I'll just go ahead and use this one. Here's one of the crystals. It's hard to see. I'm going to get something else so you can see it. I'll get a little bitty one so that you can see what we're doing. Put that one back. And it's like what I'm looking for is this. I want you to see this. Where'd the earrings go? Here they are. I am going to use that little pink ball in place of this so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, now what I do is I put it right in about the middle of my little, the size hoop I want. What you can do to make sure both sides are the same is do them at the same time. Put 2 wires in there at one time. Or you can mark with felt pen right on your pliers, your round nose pliers, to make sure that you put them in the same place and get the same size hoop or same size circle. Now I'm just turning this, and I twisted and I turned my pliers a little bit as I ran out of room, and then see how high that wire is there. Now I'm going to take that wire with my finger, and I'm my thumb, and I'm just going to twist it. I'm just giving it a little twist, making it stay on the wire. See there? Now it's on the wire really good. Now all I got to do is cut that little end off. Let me cut that end off. And then I want to squish down that little piece that overhangs, if you can see that. Do you see the little piece overhanging there? I hope you can. And then we want to squish that down. So I'm going to take my flat nose pliers, that's these here, and I'm going to flatten that piece down. Your best luck is grabbing a hold of the circle. Yeah, normally with pliers, but I have gotten to where I use my fingers most of the time just so I don't have to look for anything. Now I'm just going around and squishing, opening my pliers and closing them just to get that. Now that part is gone. Now it's pretty flush now. And then, I've got one at the other end. There's my wire. Now I'm going to cut that off because I don't need this much wire. And then I'm going to take this little one and put it on. Get over here where you can see it. Now see how that looks on there? That's on there pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is just on the very edge of my round nose pliers, I'm just going to grab it a really little edge right there. I'm going to twist it over twist the wire toward you. Then I'm going to move my pliers up to the top. See, it was down here. Now I'm moving it up to the top. But I'm going to come in a little more because I want that wire the same size on the other side. And then I'm going to roll it around like that. Then I'm going to twist my pliers a little more, roll it, and then take my pliers out, put it back in, and just twist it the rest of the way. Now it's got a little circle place there. Now all I've got to do is wrap the wire around and around and around. Now here I go. I'm going to wrap the other way. Round, around, and around. Now that's plenty. That's plenty of wrapping. May not be perfect size, but you can always count when you do either side to make sure you're going to have them perfect. Now I'm going to cut off that little edge. I could probably cut off more than that, but I'm not really worried about it because this little wire, you don't see it too much. Now, I'm squishing down that little edge there. I think I left too much of that little edge on, but it's all right. No, I'm going to go ahead and cut it back off. I'm going to cut the rest of that little wire off because it's just too much on me. I don't want it way bigger than the other side. And then I'm going to, and then what you do here, now that's ready to go on to your other, to attach to your, oh, I did that wrong. Let me show you what I mean by me doing it wrong. Normally I would have attached that right when I did the first turn. I didn't do that. So let me grab a piece of wire. I want to show you that so that you know when you get to that point. I'm going to do this real quick just so that we can get back to where we were. I'm just going to do this quick. I'm better when I do it quick. I'm going to go 3 times so that we match up with the other side. Okay, now that I'm there, I'm going to cut this little edge off. I'm going to squish that. Yeah, I'm just squishing that wire down, that's all. Now I'm going to take this. I'm going to put the bead on. Normally I'm pretty fast at making these things, but when I'm describing them, I really can't go too fast. Now what I'm going to do is, just like we did before, I'm going to grab just a little bit, just so I can turn the wire sideways and leave a little space in between for wrapping. Then I'm going to come up here and grab the wire where the size I want the hole to be on the other side, like the other side. And I'm going to bring it around, and I have to keep twisting this to make sure I can go all the way around. Now I'm ready to wrap. Now when you're ready to wrap, that's when you normally will grab hold of whatever you're going to hook it to. Like on this, I would be hooking it to an earring post. You know, like this is hooked on here. I would be hooking it to this here. At this point, I would be hooking this. I would stick under here and let it slip right into place. That's how I put that on there. And then I would do my wrapping. I would just wrap around and around and around. But we are going to do it on a ring just for the heck of it, just so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I hooked, put it on there. Let's pretend that's that big ring. And then when you get it on here, that's when you're going to wrap it around. 2. Let me get a hold of it. There, that's enough. That's wrapped enough. And then we cut that off. Then it's permanently on there because you have no place to take this off, no place to take this off. Or let me show you with the other one. You squish that down. Okay, there it is. There now you've got that hooked on there. You can see it better if I hold it like this. See? You little dangly. Now, when you put it on like that, there's no openings on this or on this to where this can ever come apart. That's on there for good. Then you've just got to hook it onto the earring post. I mean, just the earring right here. You got to hook it on there. And that you can do with this because these are always open. These are always open, so you can always open that, put it on that side. But when you go to put this one on, you have to do it when you make that little circle. When you make that little dangly, you have to hook it on when you're putting the second part together, the bottom part. Because if you don't, then you have to put a ring, one of these, you'll have to put a ring in between those two to hook them together. So it's better to just go ahead and put it on while you got it. I'll show you that better in a minute. I'll just stick a bunch of them together so that you can see what I'm talking about. Now, on this one, now that we've got our little thingies made, I didn't make any bottoms. All you'd have to do is open this and put it on. You know, we're not going to even go there. I'm going to get you used to doing that other part. Now, let's just cut a big piece of wire. I just want you to know how to get this together. You can make bracelets, you can make necklaces, anything just using this little wire here. Although, this is not a special wire, so you would have to keep it out of moisture. Now, if you wanted to, you could just make a ring. I'm going to do this quick. You just make a little ring like this. I'm just sticking that on there like that. And then take a bead. Now I've got a bead now. Wait, I dropped it. I'm going to just grab this bead. It's got a little hole though. Now my bead's going to push that wire up where it needs to go. See there? Just pushed it right up to the end. Now all I got to do is come over here, grab hold of it, bend that down, bring it around. Now wrap. See how easy that is to wrap? Then cut that off. These are easy things to wrap. I mean, you can make a lot of things just with this cheap wire, especially when you're practicing. You don't want to go into golds and stuff until after you know how to do basics and know if your hands are going to handle this right or whatever. Now I'm going to make another one. I'm going to show you how to hook it onto the other one. Now I'm not going to worry about these ends right. Well, I'll go ahead and get it right now because it's going to bug me. This has got a stick out piece and I'm trying to get rid of it. Okay, got rid of the stick out piece. Now I'm going to make another one. And I'm going to wrap the wire like we did before and cut off that edge. You don't have to wrap it very I like to go 3 times basically. A lot of people only go a couple times. You know, it's not going to come off. I'm going to hang on to that. I'm going to squish that little piece down. You know, like we did before. I'm just squishing it down. Make sure it's in place. Now the next bead will push this down further. Now here's, okay, we got a purple bead. I'm going to put a purple bead on here. Now I'm just using the same wire. It's just all on one wire. It's no big deal here. Then I'm going to make my little loop. And this is where, remember the loop? Now there's my loop. Now when I get there, before I wire wrap, I want to stick it on this other bead. So I'm going to put it right through there and go right on that bead. Then I'm going to do my wire wrap. So I want to get a hold of the end of that and then just start wire wrapping. Now I'm wire wrapping. Now I'm going to stop. Now I'm doing this messy, but you can do it as nice and neat as you want to, or messy, and it's still going to look pretty when it's done. When it all gets together, it's still going to look nice. It's amazing. Now there's 2 of them hooked together, you know? And then let me find something different. I've got this whole box of goodies over here. So let's find something different. Let's find, I just want to show you can use anything. And it's going to look cool. Now, we've got this kind of a bead. This one's kind of weird. Let's just, I'm going to grab this and turn it. Now, if you want to, you can even put it on right now. You know how I've got that little place in there already? I can take and I can put a bead right on there, just like that. Twist it with my fingers. See, I'm just twisting it with my fingers. This is an easier way to do it, actually. And then cut that piece off. Or with this bead being so big, I really don't even need to cut that off much. I can put it through, have the bead sitting right on it. Because that's got a big hole in that one. Now, see how that went right over that and covered that hole? Isn't that cool how you can do that? Now let's go ahead and make our little circle. Now go around and around and around. Wasn't that easy? Cut it off. Make sure you don't get near that, because this wire, if you're cutting off one of those edges and you cut too close, you'll cut the bead off. You cut the top off of this. But there you go, like that. And that could even make an earring. Look at there. You could even make earrings like that. Let's get one that's more colorful. Or we could even put one of these on. These would be different. Yeah. There's a little diamond. Let's put this little diamond on it. Now, remember how I told you the easy way is? The easy way is just to twist this wire like this. Look at there. Look at there. You got just a little twist in there. Then you grab your end and just stick it on there. Just like that. Then you twist it. That's that thin wire. You can do some weird easy things with it. Now the hole's smaller in this one, so I'm going to have to cut this off. If it's a big hole, you can put the wire right in that hole. But you really don't need to do much with it, because the bead can push that down a little more. Now I'm putting the bead on right now. Now I just pulled that a little bit. Just to make sure that bead's holding it real good. Look at that. You can just keep going like this, and you can make a big, long necklace. Cute little bracelet. Now I'm bending that over sideways. Grabbing it at the top. Bending it over the rest of the way. Then I'm going to turn my pliers around and wrap. There's the wrapping. That's all there is to that. Then you can go to your next bead. Cut it off and go to your next bead. And I'm using the same piece of wire every time. I'm going to squish down that hole. That little piece. There's a cute little bracelet right there. Let me get something colorful. I'll go. I'll get a red. Let's get a red. Oh, here's a red one. Let's go with a red one. I'm going to put it on the other side. You could even do this. You could actually even put through that hole like this. You could actually just go through the hole like that, even without your tool. Grab it with your fingernails and twist. 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 Because of the kind of wire this is. Because it's an easy to use wire. Look at that. That's all I did. So I just twisted it on there. So you can actually do it even without tools. And then grab your bead and put that bead on there. Now that's on there real good on that one. That one went right through the hole. Look at that. Cute. And then you can do the same thing with the other side. Bend it. I'd use a knitting needle or something if you didn't have the tool. And then just twist it. I like having my tools, but at least you know you can do it. It's quicker with your tools. See? There you go. An easy way to make a necklace or bracelet or a dangly earring that you wanted as long as you wanted it. Now, if you're making earrings, you're going to want to make sure you do the same amount of twist on both sides to make sure they're the same length. You know, but you can use just anything. Now, here's a really tiny bead. I can even put a tiny bead in there, you know, in this mixture. And let's just get ourselves a tiny bead in there. Let me get a different color tiny bead. I just want you to know the variations you can put in these things. Or every so often you can put something fancy. You know, like here's a little square. You can put one of those. Or here's a little... Where'd it go? There it is. Here's a little metal one that I made earlier, but let me take this one off. Okay, here's a little metal one. Put that on the other side. Watch this. Just put it through there. Take it. Twist. Look at that. Cut off the excess. Put your bead on. It's weird that you can do it with your hands, huh? Wait, this bead hasn't got a hole in it. I think it has a hole in it. Okay, get through there. Now that bead's not going to let me use it. And that's because I had another wire in it, and that wire's still stuck in there. Okay, we'll just use this one. Just for something. You know, just so that we can see the differences. You know, now I do like to use my other thing, but at least you know you can do it with your hands if you want to. You know, not my favorite way to do it. Now, I'm just going around and around and around. There wasn't anything to do with that except I was hanging onto it with this. I'm just showing you easier as we go so that you actually know you can do it with something else. And when I'm making different things, I like to make them all different. I like a variety of different stuff. I like to make things differently. I like to come up with new designs. And like look at this one. This one's a little square here. Let's try that little square and see what we get. Here's my wire. Remember, we just bend it, stick on, and twist. And twist. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 twists on there. Cut it off. Push it down with the bead. Put the bead on. Push it down with the bead. See, now that bead is hiding that bad end, you know? And there's a little different kind of bead on there. Well, I can twist that a little bit more because that's kind of squirrely looking. There. That's better. And then twist that tip. But at least you know, now you can do it with all your old beads that you have no idea what you're going to do with. You can stick them together and make some pretty cool necklaces. You know, just by doing this. You know, and this is good practice for wire wrapping. And because sometimes you're going to have to wire wrap if you're using tiny beads. Tiny beads are hard to use. I mean, it's not hard to use. It's just it won't stay on if you don't twist it. It won't stay nice. So look at there. Or let me turn this around too. Look at that. Now that would make a great necklace too. And see how it doesn't even matter if you do it by hand? They all look the same as they're going down. Well, anyway, that's what I got for you today. I just wanted you to learn how to do that wire wrap. That's real important. And we've actually made some pretty cool earrings by just twisting our wire. Remember that we can twist and make cute little earrings this way. We can make, here's the braided. Remember the braided? We made braided. Now also what you can do with these braided ones, also if you don't like them facing in this direction like this, you can always push that braid up this way and make it appear to be a larger earring. See, now let me show you these next to each other. Here's regular. And here's twisted. Look how much bigger it looks when you flatten it out. I mean, it's a huge difference, but I mean, it just gives you a little bit more variety there. Now, if I squish that out, you're going to have a bigger earring again. Just so you know the difference here. Now, here's that bigger one. But you're going to have to twist these tips too a little bit, just so that they're facing in the right direction for the ring to hold them. Because you're changing the whole design of the earring when you twist it this way. There you go. Beautiful earrings though. And they're twisted, and it just, you know, it just gives you something different. Here's the other twisties that we did earlier. Oop, unlock. Here's the other ones that we twisted from round circles. We twisted them. And then here's the ones I thought were kind of elegant. I thought those were very cute. And that's just with the wire wrap. Very inexpensive earrings, wire wrapping. You can do it with your fingers or you can do it with a tool. I prefer tool. But that's what I got for you. And there you go. And there's your bracelet. You know, whatever. You can add any colors you want to. Makes a great bracelet. Okay, well, you guys have a great day, and God bless all of you.